Welcome to special sports edition of Channel 9. We will talk about football, and obviously we are a sports crazy nation, and be it football or be it cricket, we are always very excited. And football has been a very, very big sport and very, very big crowd puller over the years in Bangladesh. And if we talk about only Bangladesh, it will not be right. It's the topmost sport all over the world. And today we have Mr. Yosof, flown in from Malaysia, a special sports commentator, and he has been involved with a lot of commentary, a lot of sports events for a long time. So he's here with us. We'll talk about overall football internationally in our country and in Malaysia with Mr. Yosof. Thank you for coming here.
It's a pleasure. What a lovely country you have.
Thank you very much. So you have been here especially for Bangabandhu Gold Cup tournament.
That's right.
And you have seen how we play and also how we love football here. So what about your overall idea of sports craziness here?
From what I understand, before I came here, I was told that football was very much the second sport compared to cricket. When I came here, it wasn't the case to my eyes. My first experience was in Sylhet, where it's a lot more compact than the stadium in Dhaka. It was packed, and what a sight it was. And for me, knowledgeable football fans, they were applauding at the right moments in a football game, and it's encouraging to see. It made commentating an absolute pleasure.
So what about Asian football? Like, you know, what do you see us? Because normally if we look at international football, Asian countries are not at the very top, obviously.
We're not dining at the top table quite yet, no. Yeah. For me, I would classify Asia into three categories. Okay, you've got the top category, which is where your Japans, your South Koreas, and your Australia would dine at that table. Then for the second rung, you would have your Middle Eastern countries, your Iran, your Iraqs, your Bahrains. I believe countries like Malaysia, Bangladesh, India, we sit at the third table. Which isn't a bad thing, at all. Obviously, the objective is to get up there and fight the likes of Japan, but I think we're a while away from that yet. So, in my eyes, that's how I see Asian football.
So if you look at the last World Cup that was played in 2014 in Brazil, if we look at the teams that played there, every team were pretty much competent and they were playing really good football. Be it African teams, be it Asian teams, be it all the other teams.
Absolutely.
So it's even we are not at that top level, but Asian teams are not far behind also. What do you think?
I think we're a few years behind that yet. The great thing about the World Cup you mentioned, we're never disappointed because the whole qualification process of getting to the World Cup, you have to be more than competent. You have to win your group, you have to do well enough. So the nations that get to World Cups, they're well equipped. They can put on a good show. I think we're a while away from that yet. I can't see, certainly not Malaysia, speaking for Malaysia, I can't see us getting to the World Cup, certainly not in my lifetime. Maybe in my son's lifetime, I wouldn't bank on that. But we're a football crazy country, much like Bangladesh. The Bangabandhu Gold Cup has illustrated to me how football mad this country is. And you know, that's half the battle won when you've got fans following the game, and if you get your in-house right, by that I mean your internal leagues. And if you look at all these countries, your Germanys, your Englands, what they've all got in common is their domestic leagues are all very strong. And if you have a strong domestic league, it translates to the national side. It's easy for your manager to come in and pick top players then. So, as I say, we're a while away from getting there, but we're on the right track.
So what are the things do you think are taking us back and we are not being able to govern our football in that way or have the right things to go to the top?
I think we're moving in the right direction. I think what we have to do is get our house in order. And by that, I mean you have to have a thriving domestic league. You know, the right number of teams in the league. You look at England, for example. The Premier League has 20 teams. Every team can beat the other team. You know, it's so unpredictable, but then at the same time, the football is played at the highest level. In Malaysia, we're on the way to doing that. A lot of our sides are state sides. They're governed by the actual Football Association of States. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to change them over to football clubs, FCs. I think that is the only way forward. If you have thriving league in your nation with 15, 20 teams in your league playing at the highest level, I think a great national side or a successful national side will follow.
What about the academy concepts that other countries have or other clubs have? Or do you think it comes with that FC?
That normally comes with the FC. Depending, you see, okay, if you base your clubs based on geography, you get FCs who will have scouts out in that area. So you'll pick the best players from the Silat area to play for Silat Town or Silat FC. And you then have the best players of the region playing for the sides. So your national coaches then can come and go, hey, I need a left winger. And the best left winger we know plays in Silat. So it's easier, you know? It's very simple, really. I mean, the formula to successful football is just get your house in order, have a thriving domestic league. I mean, with us in Asia, especially in South Asia, Southeast Asia, we also have to fight, dare I say the C word, corruption. You know, it's everywhere. So going back to your original question, academies, does it work? I think it does to a certain extent. For example, the Malaysian side who played at the recent Bangabandhu Gold Cup, they brought the under-23 side. A lot of these players are contracted to the Football Association of Malaysia, so they're not yet attached to clubs. The plus side is you get a manager totally in control of his young side. He can mold the way young players think, how they behave when they're abroad and all that. The minus side is when they do join clubs, they're out of their depth. See, the one way of looking at it is when a young player is attached to a football club and playing for a living at a young age, he learns that money is associated with success. He will do everything to help his teammates, and right? At the end of the day, it all comes back to that same thing again. It's money, the root of all evil.
So obviously that is a concept, and we'll talk about that more, and also we'll try to understand the international football and how the club structures are going on in other countries. So we'll take a short break and we'll come back. Viewers, we'll be coming back. Stay with us.